Is it 11 o'clock at night and I'm eating some Count Chocula? You bet I am. Is this room a disaster? You bet it is. Am I gonna film this video anyway? Heck yeah, I am. Baby girl's asleep, and it's a rare occasion that I can slide away from her while she's asleep and her stay asleep. So I thought I would take advantage of this time, and as long as she stays asleep, I'm gonna pick out my pile of possibilities, my seasonal TBR. I don't know what you want to call it, but that's what it is. I'm not doing a TBR per se because I don't stick to those and then I get disappointed. So I have a shelf here beside me that I'm gonna use for these books. So maybe I'll call it my seasonal shelf, my seasonal selections. Anyway, you get the gist. I have two already that are going on this shelf. So the first one is my Christian nonfiction pick. Gosh, it was like for November, I think. And it like rolled over into December. Anyway, I want to finish this in February for sure. So it's going on the shelf. And then I want to do a reread of Dear Mama, and it's by Well Watered Women. There are multiple different authors in here, but I've already read this before and it was just such a nourishment to my soul and my mommy heart, and so I want to read it again. So that one's also going on the shelf. Another one that's going on the shelf is Anne of Green Gables, because that's another one that I started in November, December, and then just didn't finish it. So I'm gonna grab that one, put it on the shelf. Alright, we've got 3 on the shelf so far. What else do I want to add from my bookshelves? Also, my child will not stay asleep for nothing. And she fights sleep so hard. She's going on 15 months. So if any of you mamas out there have any advice, any tips for me, let me know. Because I'm really struggling. And she's struggling. And I don't know what to do for her. Okay, I'm gonna pull this one. It's a love-inspired suspense by Jacqueline Thomas, and it is Sorority Cold Case. So I have never read a love-inspired suspense before. I've never read anything by Jacqueline Thomas before, but I was in a sorority in my undergrad before I knew Jesus. So that's what intrigued me about this. An unsolved murder, 2 detectives with something to prove. Detective Charlie Tesarki has never forgotten the case she couldn't solve. It's been 11 years since a college student was murdered, and she's desperate for a second chance to catch the killer. The cold case unit will let her lead the investigation if she works with Detective Grayson Lee. A partner is the last thing Grayson and Charlie want, but they'll have to work together to get justice for this victim and put a murderer behind bars. So, sounds good to me. Hopefully it doesn't get too dark. We shall see if I choose to pick this up in this winter season. So now there's 1, 2, 3, 4 on the shelf. And once I pick all of them, I'll show you the shelf when it's done. You know, I would put the second Harry Potter book on the shelf, but I still want to do my deep dive into scripture just to see what the Lord leads me to in a decision on reading stuff about witchcraft. So, I don't know. It's on the brain, but we'll see. I kind of want to add Little Women to the shelf, but I don't know. Then part of me wants to save it for December of this year, 2025. I'm gonna go peruse that shelf over there and see if I can pull any. Okay, I grabbed some more. This one is one that I heard Bethany talk about, and it is The Quiet Zone, and it is about a place in West Virginia. It says, what if there was a place where people weren't constantly scrolling, where forest hikes were never tainted by a ringtone, where getting lost meant really getting lost? These questions led me through rugged Appalachian backcountry and into the heart of the Quiet Zone, unraveling the mystery of a town suspended in silence. If you don't know, I live in West Virginia, and we are our own state, by the way. It's not Western Virginia. Like, West Virginia is actually its own state. I know a lot of people get confused about that. That's where this book is based, and I had no idea. I was born and raised here and had no idea that such a place existed in West Virginia. So shame on me, and I need to read this. Got a cool map on the inside. So that's going on the shelf for sure. So the next one is a middle grade, and it's a bookish book. The Bookshop of Dust and Dreams by Mindy Thompson. Looks really cute. What does all the magic in the world matter if it can't save the ones you love? It's 1944, Sutton, New York, and Poppy's family, Poppy, so cute. Poppy's family owns and runs a Rhyme and Reason, a magical bookshop that caters to people from all different places and time periods. Though her world is ravaged by World War II, customers hail from the past and the future, infusing the shop with a delightful mix of ideas and experiences. Poppy dreams of someday becoming shopkeeper like her father, though her older brother, Al, is technically next in line for the job. She knows all of the rules handed down from one generation of shopkeeper to the next, especially their most important one: they must never use the magic for themselves. But then Al's best friend is killed in the war, and her brother wants to use the magic of the shop to save him. With her father in the hospital suffering from a mysterious illness, the only one standing between Al and the bookstore is Poppy. Caught between her love for her brother and loyalty to her family, she knows her brother's actions could have devastating consequences that reach far beyond the bookshop as an insidious, growing darkness looms. This decision is bigger than Poppy ever dreamed, and the fate of the bookshop hangs in the balance. Ooh, I feel like that was a long synopsis. Looks really cute, and I'm gonna add it to the shelf. The next one is An Elephant in the Garden, another middle grade, and it's inspired by a true story. It's by Michael Morpurgo, best-selling author of Warhorse. I've never heard of that book or read it. It's like a shorter book. It says, this elephant in our garden was going to change my life forever, change all our lives. The bombing of Dresden looms ahead, and Lizzie's mother, a zookeeper, persuades the zoo director to allow Marlene, a young elephant that has bonded with Lizzie, and her younger brother Carl to be kept safe in their garden. Their home is destroyed when bombs are dropped, so the family and Marlene have no choice but to flee with thousands of others in the dead of winter. Though how can they walk the same route and keep themselves safe from approaching Russian soldiers with an elephant in tow? Sounds pretty good. I hope that it doesn't make me cry. We shall see. Add that to the shelf. And then the next one was an Ollie's Bargain Outlet find. I think it's a middle grade. Very short little book. It's called The Snow Spider. I need to get this ugly tag off. Ollie's really gets to me. I hate these tags. They are the worst to remove. And when you remove them, you get that really yucky residue. It's hard to get off. But anyways, this is a really pretty cover, aside from the fact that I hate spiders. Like, don't know why I picked this one up. It says, "Time to find out if you are a magician, Gwen." Gwen's grandmother leaves him 5 gifts: a brooch, a piece of dried seaweed, a tin whistle, a scarf, and a broken toy horse. She tells him they will help make him a magician, but can Gwen use them to bring his missing sister Bethan home? The Snow Spider is a beloved modern classic that has won, I'm not going to say that right, it's won an award, and the Smarties Grand Prix. So, let me know if you've read that one. Okay, what else can we add to the shelf? Okay, more options. I think this is another middle grade. The Westing Game by Ellen Raskin. So I remember reading the synopsis of this in Books A Million and thinking Inheritance Games and wondering if that book was inspired by this book. I'm intrigued, and I know a lot of people like it, and I know people actually recommended this to me whenever I was asking for recommendations based off of the Inheritance Games. So I'm gonna put it on the shelf. So there's that option. And then I've had this one for quite a while and definitely want to get to it soon. It's Falling by T.J. Newman. Says, oh, I didn't even say like what the Westing Game was. A bizarre chain of events begins when 16 unlikely people gather for the reading of Samuel W. Westing's will, and though no one knows why, the eccentric, game-loving millionaire has chosen a virtual stranger and a possible murderer to inherit his vast fortune. One thing's for sure, Sam Westing may be dead. That won't stop him from playing one last game. Super intrigued. Want to read that very soon. And then Falling is a thriller, I think. You just boarded a flight to New York. There are 143 other passengers on board. What you don't know is that 30 minutes before the flight, your pilot's family was kidnapped. For his family to live, everyone on your plane must die. The only way the family will survive is if the pilot follows his orders and crashes the plane. Enjoy the flight. It's terrifying. But I've heard lots of good things about it, so hopefully it doesn't disappoint. I found this copy of Sleeping Murder and Murder at the Vicarage? I don't know how to say that word, sorry. But if I remember correctly, this had a dust jacket on it, and I think it said something about it being like maybe like her first and her last book. I'm not sure, could be wrong. I'm gonna put this on the shelf because I want to read Agatha and I don't have And Then There Were None. I'll probably try to get it from my library and potentially read that one first, because I know so many people love it and a lot of people have told me to start there. But this is one that I own. So let me know if you've read either of these. Again, it's Sleeping Murder and Murder at the Vicarage. I don't know how to say that. Let me know if this could be a good place to start with Agatha. But I'm gonna put it on the shelf. Okay, and then I have Emily Bronte, Wuthering Heights. Another goal. Read some classics in 2025. Okay, and then I have another Ollie's find, and this is The Great Gatsby. And then I think the last one I'm going to add to the shelf for now is The Mythmakers by John Hendricks. If you don't know what this is about, it's all about C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien and their friendship. And it is kind of like graphic novel. My sweet hubby got this for me for Christmas. And he actually got me a copy that has the author's signature in it. Hubby gets an award, right? That's awesome. So yeah, I'm putting this bad boy on the shelf. So yeah, I think that's all I'm going to add for tonight. Just to recap, we have Risen Motherhood and Dear Mama, Anne of Green Gables, Sorority Cold Case, The Quiet Zone, The Bookshop of Dust and Dreams, An Elephant in the Garden, The Snow Spider, The Westing Game, Falling, Agatha Christie, Wuthering Heights, The Great Gatsby, and The Mythmakers. So this is going to be my seasonal shelf. Have a good one, y'all.